Michael Girfield, or as the internet knows him, Pamperchu, is a 35-year-old grown man who's addicted to wearing diapers. Yeah, you heard that right, diapers. But it doesn't stop there. He's a self-admitted pedophile, which makes him without a doubt one of the grossest, most disturbing people you'll ever come across on the internet. Now, before we go any further, I have to warn you because you might feel a little too disturbed watching this video. Seriously, what we're going to get into isn't about a normal person by any stretch of the imagination. This guy takes disturbing to a whole new level.
I hate monkeys, and I want to kill an animal. Well, I don't know if you guys are the Gorg people, but someone's going to come over here, hopefully, and we can take apart an animal together. I'll keep it clean. I don't care if it gets on the carpet or the walls. And also, I'm gonna eat it. I'm not just gonna take it apart and it. No, I want to learn. I have never done it before, but I really like that stuff. And then I'll probably cook the meat and eat it for dinner. So we're gonna have dinner together.
From advocating sleeping with teenage kids to salvaging wet and poopy diapers from the dumpster, Pamperchu's gross list is endless, and it's plastered all over the internet. What is even more disturbing is that he clearly doesn't care at all to hide anything. He's an outspokenly disgusting person. It's not hidden that the internet is full of weird and degenerate people, but only a few are actually on the same level as Pamperchu, and most of them are most likely to be in jail or dead. Pamperchu has clearly admitted to being a pedophile in one of his leaked Telegram messages, and I don't even get why he isn't in jail yet.
A story about Avery. The first time he came over to visit me at my house, we've already been talking for hundreds of hours online. And that night, the first day, I was sitting in the garage in the gallery and on a couch with him, and so I said, Avery, are you a pedophile too? And he goes, oh, yeah, I guess so. I'm open about it. I'm very good at talking about all of it. And for some reason, every friend I meet, I go, are you a pedophile? I'm a pedophile. Are you one too? And they go, yeah.
Pamperchu is a baby fur, ABDL, an adult baby diaper lover, and a social media personality. But the real problem here has nothing to do with all of this, because the real problem is that he's a pedophile. He is terrible, and it's extremely disturbing to talk about it, let alone be part of the story. This video seriously shows just how gross and messed up this guy is. I mean, I don't even need to explain what's in the video, because it's exactly what it looks like. A full-grown adult squeezing a soiled diaper. Honestly, I'm at a loss for words here. Pamperchu is just straight up disgusting. But how did he become like this?
Hello everyone, this is Pamperchu. Today, I'm going to teach you how to flush a diaper down the toilet.
What do you got there?
These are good nights for girls.
So this is what it's like being a Pamperchu and getting diapered.
This is what it's like being an old baby. I personally...
Well, it all started when he was around 3 or 4 years old. But before I tell you what made him like this, let's see his upbringing. Details about his childhood are very rare, and there is no clear information, but we know that he was born on July 12, 1988 in Beaverton, Oregon. Although there isn't many information about his childhood, there is one particular story that can explain why Pamperchu is the man he is today. Not only that, as many speculated, this is the trauma that made Pamperchu's mental health become pretty messed up, leading him to do the most degenerate and disgusting things he did and continue doing nowadays.
Yeah, but I remember my grandpa said, pull your pants down a little when you get in the back. He said, pull your pants down a little when you get in the back. And I already knew what that was. You know, I think I was 3 or 4. I remember getting back in the car with Steve. Now I can say this, it's been 30 years.
So, Pamperchu shared this wild and honestly disturbing story from when he was just 3 or 4 years old. He says he climbed into the back seat of his grandparents' car, and then Steve, who was one of his parents' friends, followed him and did something seriously inappropriate. Steve pulled off Pamperchu's pants and f***ed him. The shocking part, Pamperchu has actually defended Steve's actions when talking about it later, saying he enjoyed the experience, so it was okay. What? This kind of thinking is just no. Like, absolutely not. It's heartbreaking and also infuriating to see someone try to rationalize something so messed up. Maybe it's a coping mechanism, or maybe it's some twisted form of loyalty, but either way, it's not okay. And it led him to the worst path any human being can ever take. What makes this story even more disturbing is that Pamperchu's grandparents are part of this CSA done on their own grandson. It doesn't get more disturbing than this, right? But the story doesn't end here. Later on in his 20s, Steve would again come into Pamperchu's life and date him.
I liked it. I was happy. And then every time I saw him over the years when I was a kid, I was like, I forgot about you. I'm worried I'm going to forget about you.
Pamperchu is clearly not mentally well and probably had Stockholm Syndrome, and this could be the reason why he doesn't hate on Steve. Then in what is an extremely bizarre situation, Pamperchu would sign a contract with Steve, binding himself to a decade of what can only be described as a twisted parody of care. The terms of the agreement were horrifyingly specific and painted a grotesque picture of control masked as caregiving. Steve would now be responsible for building him a house, giving him money, and even including changing his diapers, and in return, Pamperchu became Steve's sexual partner.
He built me a house. He took care of me for 10 years, rent-free. So, and now I'm in my own house.
Yeah.
But that's what the contract said. You had to go on one date, and if he likes you, you gotta go keep going. But he has lots of boys. He has lots of boys that hang around.
Pamperchu actively describes himself as a baby fur and appears in his videos wearing diapers. But how did he become like this? Well, it was when he was 18 years old that Pamperchu came out as an adult baby, and his parents seemed to not care at all.
Okay, hold on dearly now. Squirrel, go over there and turn it around.
No. That'll hurt. Squirrel can do it and I'll spin him.
But Pamperchu didn't come up with his idea of becoming an adult baby on his own. There was someone who influenced him to be this way. This man was called Paul Freeman, or also known as Daddy Inky. Paul is significantly older than Pamperchu, probably 30 or 40 years older. He is also an adult baby who is addicted to diapers, and it's pretty clear that he's the one who influenced Pamperchu into being obsessed with diapers. Pamperchu's online presence had been 2 decades long, and when he first started out, he wasn't as disgusting as he is today. In fact, many people perceived him as a harmless diaper enthusiast.
Even the furries get sick of wearing the same $2,000 fursuit.
Yeah, so they have like 4 or 5 of them.
It's only
Hey.
$12,000.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Ah, 319.
yeah. Oh look,
Where?
doesn't that look like it says Donut Delight over there?
Where? Donut Delight?
Yeah, Donut Delight.
Yeah, I see it.
Wouldn't it be delighted?
When you consider his early reputation, it's clear that he wasn't immediately associated with the more unsettling aspects that would later define his online identity. People primarily saw him as a guy with a quirky hobby, albeit one centered around diapers. In fact, the word diaper enthusiast seemed to perfectly sum up how he was perceived by most. It was almost like he carved out a corner of the internet to share this niche passion, and for better or worse, it worked.
I can't believe how many diapers are in this aisle. There's got to be like a lifetime supply for 100 babies. Look at all these Huggies. They don't got Pampers though. No Pampers. And they don't go up to size 6, do they? Size 4, size 5. Size 6. Okay, they got size 6 over here. That's insane. And the new Mickey Mouse ones, oh, they're so cute. And it comes with a free backpack. No way.
Of course, looking at the big picture, it's fascinating to think about how someone can maintain an online presence for so long while undergoing such a dramatic change in public perception. It's not every day you see someone go from being dismissed as a harmless oddball to someone widely viewed as outright repulsive. It raises questions, doesn't it? Like what happened along the way? Was it just the gradual revelation of his true nature? Or did his own behavior evolve and spiral into something much darker over time? Either way, it's one of those stories that leaves you shaking your head in equal parts disbelief and discomfort. He used to discuss about diapers a lot, and he was actively engaging in various diaper forums until he got banned for his infamous thread encouraging others to use diapers from a dumpster and boasted for doing it regularly. Here's what happened. One of the users asks a question about whether or not salvaging used diapers is a good idea. The question itself is pretty cringe, and another person condemned him and told him to buy new diapers. But Pamperchu is a different breed. He straight up forward advised the questioner to use a diaper from the dumpster. The other guy was understandably repulsed by this action and confronted Pamperchu, but instead of changing his mind or at least keeping his mouth zipped, Pamperchu insisted in his claim and encouraged the use of diapers from the trash. Although it's not clear why Pamperchu does such things, one thing is certain. His online presence has crumbled thanks to his own shocking behavior. He squeezes a tube full of used diapers pulled straight from a dumpster. It's absolutely revolting, and I can't wrap my head around why anyone thought this was remotely okay. Pamperchu keeps going on and on about his gross diaper squishing obsession, trying to justify it by saying that artistic people are naturally drawn to squishing things like that. Apparently, in his mind, this is just a quirky side effect of being creative or artistic. I mean, seriously? If that's what's being artistic's all about, then I'm over here counting my blessings that I don't fall into that category. It's one thing to be unique or creative, but this, it's on a whole different level of bizarre. Honestly, the more he talks about it, the harder it is to take him seriously. The constant commentary on such a grotesque fixation goes far beyond the bounds of what most people would consider socially acceptable. It's one thing to have personal quirks or niche interests, but broadcasting something this unhygienic and inappropriate crosses a line that shouldn't need to be explained. The fixation comes across as attention-seeking, pushing boundaries not for expression but for shock value. Why is there such an insistence on making this a public spectacle? Sharing or unusual aspects of oneself is one thing. Forcing others to confront such an unsettling habit without consideration is another entirely. Pamperchu's unwillingness to recognize how uncomfortable and gross this fixation is reflects a lack of self-awareness. Apparently, Pamperchu has this habit of recycling diapers, which honestly raises a whole new level of questions that I don't even want answers to. But wait, it gets worse. What's even more shocking is how it claims to sanitize these soiled diapers. He actually takes them and grills them in the same microwave he uses to heat his food. Let that horrifying detail sink in for a second. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure whether to be disgusted, concerned, or just completely done with humanity. Who even thinks this is remotely okay? The whole thing is beyond disturbing. It's like he's trying to redefine the meaning of unsanitary.
Hello everyone, this is Pamperchu, and today we're making a barbecue diaper. Let's see if it's ready. Now it's starting to melt there. Give it some more time. Then I'll put it over in the hot section. Delicious.
He doesn't just microwave these soiled diapers, he takes it a step further and adds a barbecue to the mix. I mean, seriously, who even thinks of doing something like that? To be honest, I can't wrap my head around it. Why would anyone go out of their way to combine those two things? It's baffling, really. It's not just odd, it's downright confusing. The stranger thing is that he seems to get some kind of satisfaction out of it. Like, is this a hobby, a weird coping mechanism? Or is it just one of those things people do for shock value? I'm honestly at a loss here. Maybe he enjoys the absurdity of it, or maybe there's some inside joke I'm not in on. Either way, it's definitely not something you'd expect to see anyone doing. It's the kind of thing that leaves you with more questions than answers. And honestly, I can't decide if I'm more grossed out or intrigued by what could possibly be going on in his head.
And we add a little bit of barbecue sauce, like that. And there. Put that over one more time there. Get some more barbecue sauce on the other side. Ah, perfect. It's turning out great. Yeah. Careful, barbecue sauce is sticky. Alright, let's see here. Been here for a couple minutes. Ooh. Smells good. I guess we can just roll it up here. And serve. Come and get it.
Seeing the barbecue scene, my first thought was that it was something much worse. Let's be real, given everything we've just witnessed, that assumption doesn't seem far-fetched. Pamperchu, you're beyond repulsive. The psychological damage I've suffered from enduring this clip might take months to recover from. Absolutely horrifying.
In old videos, I've cooked diapers plugged in the wall. I don't have an amp meter or watt meter, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this into here and slide this into here, and hopefully there goes another kilowatt. Alright, so we have it kind of hooked up. It's not rolling the ball yet, but let's just do a testing. I'm going to get it closer to the light here next to the power outlet. I'm not fused or anything, but you know, I have circuit breakers. Oh, it's buzzing. But you know, maybe I should roll it up though. Quiet. Ow! Ooh, that buzzed me a little. I know, I'm so afraid of electricity, huh? It buzzed me a little bit. Oh, it's not gonna smoke like. You can hear it buzzing in there. Oh, it's getting warm. Okay, let's let it roll. Let's let it roll. This is a new Pamper size 8 being cooked with electricity. I know, I'm such a b***y for someone who really loves electronics, right? There we go. Oh, it's getting warm. Somebody brought up a good question, and I'll go into my room to talk about it out loud. So somebody brought up my drinking. And they're asking me if it runs in the family. Yeah, one side of my family, they always drink, but it was a functional drinking, I guess. And they were also older, like retired. So my dad, he stopped drinking when he hit a dog once when he was younger. And so after he did that, he stopped drinking, period. You know, back then drinking and driving was okay, but now it's looked down upon. Well, after that happened with him, he just stopped drinking. I never ever seen him have a drink. But my grandparents on that side, they both drink every single night. I remember sharing a beer with my grandma when I was 2 years old. But I didn't start drinking until I ran out of what I have been taking pretty much my whole life.
Despite the rumors, Pamperchu isn't much of a drinker when it comes to alcohol. The real issue is his dependency on two specific drugs, which he vaguely alludes to but promises to clarify later in the video. What's crazy is that he only turned to alcohol as a desperate fallback because he couldn't get his hands on those two drugs. Think about that. He didn't start drinking for the buzz or the taste. It was purely because he was chasing a fix and couldn't find his usual stash. It's like alcohol wasn't even plan B. It was more like plan Z.
So that's why I've been drinking, is because I cannot get the two drugs that function with me very well. I don't drink when I do those drugs. I don't even smoke when I do those drugs. But when you have to take care of your own body, and why do we use drugs? Well, drugs because they work. And so right now I'm trying to go to doctors and get help for that, so I can just get the, get the paperwork that says I can have them.
He even admitted that he had been taking drugs for over 10 years. And during that time, he was actively creating the bizarre, cringe-worthy videos he's known for. Honestly, this revelation kind of clicks when you really think about how weird, unsettling, and downright baffling some of his content is. It all starts to add up. The over-the-top antics, the strange behavior, the awkward mannerisms that make you pause and wonder, what did I just watch? It's not hard to see the connection between all that and the drugs he was using.
So right now, I'm hearing voices, so I put these things on my head. I put them on my head. And they kind of help. I also like holding, well, thank you, Rob. The voices in my head. So, I also like holding my children, or my pretend children anyway. I like holding them, just rocking them back and forth. I don't really know what else I do with them. I like to have them scurried around the room. I have headphones on, so I kind of sound weird. But yeah, these things, they block the noise out because there's a lot of noise in my world, and so I'm gonna put it back on. So yeah. It kind of blocks out the noise, and then I can hear the inner thoughts of my life, or my thoughts, or whatever.
At one point, Pamperchu admitted of being addicted to meth.
Meth is awesome, you guys. I mean, I like to snort a line and put on some baby diapers and just squish around in my baby diapers for hours and days and days. And then after I get done with baby diapers, I like to play with electronics.
It's almost like the substances amplified every odd and cringy part of his personality, turning his videos into this chaotic, unfiltered glimpse into his mind. What's wild is that this wasn't just a random phase, it's been over a decade of this. The fact that he was operating that state for so long makes you question how much of what people assumed was just his quirky personality was really the drugs taking the wheel. It's uncomfortable to think about, but it definitely explains why his content always felt off, like it existed in its own strange, unsettling universe.
But it also hurts my feelings sometimes too. But I like squishing diapers. I like feet. So like, you know, feet step on things. Not high heels or anything, bare feet. But I don't know. Since I was like a teenager, I always want to see like a rat get squished. I got to see rats get squished and shot and smashed with a shovel. I mean, I've done that.
From obsession with diapers to craving fantasy with teens, Pamperchu is no longer shocking because we're all desensitized by the wild and inhumane things we've seen so far, and it doesn't stop right there. Pamperchu also has an issue with animals and clearly been shown he is a zoo sadist.
I hate monkeys, and I want to kill an animal. Well, I don't know if you guys are the Gorg people, but someone's gonna come over here, hopefully, and we can take apart an animal together.
Pamperchu openly states he hates monkeys and wants to kill an animal? That's not just a throwaway comment or something we can shrug off. It's disturbing, plain and simple. This isn't about edgy humor or shock value. It's crossing a line into something much darker. And when you dig into his history, it becomes even clearer that this isn't a one-off incident. Pamperchu has a documented issue with zoo sadism. Let that sink in. This isn't just about words, it's about actions. And those actions reflect a complete disregard for the well-being of innocent animals. Zoo sadism isn't just cruel, it's horrifying. It's not some quirky trait or something you can laugh off, it's a red flag. Studies have shown that people who harm animals often escalate to hurting humans. So when someone like Pamperchu openly expresses violent thoughts about animals and is already linked to zoo sadistic behavior, it's more than alarming, it's dangerous. And it's not just about the animals, that's bad enough. It's about the mindset that allows someone to feel okay inflicting pain on another living creature. Let's not sugarcoat this. Anyone who takes pleasure in hurting animals is a threat. This kind of behavior needs to be called out for what it is, offensive and unacceptable. It's not just talk. It's not something to dismiss as just how he is. It's indicative of a serious problem, and ignoring it only enables it to continue. Pamperchu goes even further and eats a dead mouse.
I'm a glitch mouse. I'm a glitch mouse. You better Glock, you know. Turn. I'm a glitch mouse. I'm a glitch mouse. Better set your clock before I Glock on your block.
Oh, no, that was gross.
Oh. It's a dead mouse. It's a dead mouse. I'm gonna eat him.
All right, let's just address the elephant in the room. That clip, it's one of the most stomach-churning things you could come across. I'm not going to rehash what happens because, frankly, I don't need to. The moment you see something like that, it sticks with you whether you want it to or not. But let's talk about what it means. Watching something like that isn't just shocking, it's unsettling on a much deeper level. It's not just about the act itself. It's about the complete lack of regard for basic decency, hygiene, or even self-respect. This goes beyond attention-seeking behavior. It's a blatant signal that something is seriously wrong here. It's not the kind of thing you do for laughs or clout. It's the kind of thing that makes you question someone's state of mind entirely. What really gets me is the intent behind it. When you see something that grotesque, you have to wonder, is this just for shock value? Or is it to provoke a reaction? Or is it simply a reflection of who this person really is? None of the answers are comforting. It feels like a glimpse into a mind that doesn't operate within the same boundaries as the rest of us. And honestly, that's what makes it so disturbing. The other side of this is the impact it has on those watching. Even if you're used to weird internet content, there's a line where weird crosses into downright horrifying, and this clip is way past that line. It leaves you with questions like, why are we even seeing this in the first place? How has it come to this? And more importantly, why is this person still out here doing these things unchecked? Here's the real issue. When someone is willing to do something so extreme on camera, it's not just about what you're seeing. It's about what else they might be capable of off camera. That's where the real concern lies. We've already seen enough from this person to know that there's a pattern of behavior here, and it's one thing that's only escalating. And let's not pretend that it's all just harmless shock value. It's not. It's indicative of a much darker, more dangerous mindset. After all this, it's pretty logical to come to the conclusion that Pamperchu isn't mentally well enough to work jobs, or even to interact with another normal person. So how does he get the money to buy these diapers, or even pay his rent and buy food? There are many ways where he gets money from, but all of them are weird. And the weirdest of all is he would get into a relationship with these people he calls daddy. And these are usually older men, usually past their 50s, and they fund him financially, and they even change his diaper.
And then after he wraps me up, I have to try to get out. There you go.
Technically, they are sugar daddies, and one of these was Steve, the man who used Pamperchu while he was around 3 or 4 years old. These people he calls daddy would take him to the playground and basically act like his dad, despite having a sexual affinity towards him.
There! I made it to the top.
Okay, go down to the hammock.
Okay.
Lay in it. Lay in it and then do an upside down twist.
No! I'll fall out.
It'd be funny.
No, it won't.
Okay, hold on dearly. Now squirrel, go over there and turn it around.
No. That'll hurt. Squirrel can do it and I'll spin it.
Okay. Here, baby, here's your baby bottle.
My carrot!
He has also admitted that Steve is the one who built him a house and takes care of him.
So yeah, the real Steve, the one who built this for me, he's basically the one who brought me in and taking care of me. And I know it's been a thing for people wondering how I live here.
Seeing what he does on a daily basis, especially with the microwave, it's honestly hard not to wonder what he's thinking. I mean, come on. It's not rocket science to figure out that Pamperchu is practically inviting health problems at this point. The way he's constantly messing around with microwaves and heaven knows what else, it's like he's playing some weird game of chicken with his own body. And here's the kicker. He's not just at risk or anything, he's already got cancer. The guy has Hodgkin's lymphoma, which, if you're not familiar, is a type of cancer that affects the lymphatic system. That's the part of your body that helps fight infections and stuff, which makes it pretty important, you know?
Hello everyone, it's me, Pamperchu. Today I wanted to make a video talking about my recent medical trips and my hospital visits and things like that. 2 weeks ago, I went into the hospital, to the emergency room. I had a big mass on my neck here, and for the last month before that, I was getting a lot of swelling. Some days my neck would be out to here, but the swelling's down right now, but I do still have a lump here. This might be hard to see. There's a lump over on the side of my neck. I went to the ER about a week ago, and it might have been a little longer than that, but I went into the ER and for pain, because I had been experiencing a lot of pain the last 3 days before I went into the ER, and they said it was going to be either cancer or mono, or it could have been cat scratch was another one. But yesterday I went in for just another appointment, and they finally had a diagnosis. They took a few samples out of my lump here. They took a needle and took 3 core samples, and they tested 2 of them. One of them was inconclusive, the other one was that it showed signs of the cancer. So I do have Hodgkin's lymphoma.
The thing is, Hodgkin's lymphoma isn't a death sentence if it's caught early and treated right. There are treatments like chemo and radiation that can be really effective. But let's be real, those treatments are hard on the body. So why would you add more stress to the mix by doing things that clearly aren't helping? Like if you're already dealing with something as serious as cancer, wouldn't you want to at least try to cut out the risky behaviors? But nope, Pamperchu seems to have a different playbook. It's almost like he's daring the universe to hit him harder, and that's just wild to me.
I'm not worried about it, but everyone else around me is kind of upset and worried. So tomorrow I'm going in for imaging. They're going to do some, not tomorrow, but Thursday I'm going in for imaging. And they're going to do some pictures with x-rays. I'm going to drink this stuff here. This is a barium. You make like a little drink and you drink it a couple hours before procedure in this case. And then they take a picture with x-rays, and this shows up really bright on their x-rays. So I'll be doing that. And then on Monday I will be going in for bone marrow biopsy. And I think they're going to take it from my hip bone, and they're going to somehow drill in and get a sample. The bone marrow is inside your bone. I'm not sure what they're doing that for, but that's what I have lined up for now. I don't have any treatment plan yet, but I will be soon. Now, this is something that they cannot treat by removing it with surgery. They will have to do chemotherapy, but there are no plans yet for starting that.
I'm not trying to be harsh here, but it's frustrating to watch someone make choices that seem so obviously harmful. And the microwave thing? That's just next level bizarre. I don't know if it's a quirk, a coping mechanism, or what, but it's definitely not doing him any favors. When you're battling something as serious as Hodgkin's lymphoma, you'd think there'd be a little more focus on self-care. But with him, it's like self-care is an afterthought, if it's even a thought at all. Honestly, it's a little sad, because with the right mindset and decisions, he could probably improve his chances and his quality of life. But hey, what do I know? I'm just over here watching this train wreck from a distance, shaking my head. There's no question that Pamperchu is, without a doubt, one of the most disturbing individuals you'll come across on the internet. His actions and words don't just push boundaries, they obliterate them entirely, leaving behind a trail of toxicity and deeply unsettling behavior. But what makes this even more concerning isn't just the bizarre and dangerous nature of his personal interests, it's the fact that he actively promotes these toxic beliefs across multiple chat forums and online communities. That takes things to a whole new level of disturbing. This isn't just a guy with issues. It's someone who seems intent on spreading his harmful ideologies to others, creating a ripple effect that could have far-reaching consequences.
So, I have little Chucky. He's in a vintage diaper, which is all soaked and dirty, because I kind of like that. It's okay when it's a pretend, you know, it's a pretend, not real life. We also have the Chucky, oh, don't hurt me. Yeah. I just love my children, my pretend children. And Steve is also like my pretend adult. So Steve watches me, he will watch me. So he's my adult. So I still feel like I'm in the age between those guys and this guy here. So like Steve, yeah, look at those brown eyes. He's like my adult.
What we're talking about here isn't harmless internet banter. Pamperchu's behavior goes beyond weird or eccentric. The things he's said and done point to a much darker, more dangerous pattern of conduct. When someone with a history of zoo sadism and other deeply troubling tendencies is actively engaging with others online, you have to ask yourself, how much harm has already been done? And more importantly, how much harm is still happening behind the scenes? Let's not kid ourselves. There's a high likelihood that there are real victims involved here, and they might not all be animals. His online presence is a breeding ground for enabling and encouraging behavior that should never be normalized or overlooked. Frankly, this is the kind of situation that demands serious attention from law enforcement. This isn't just about keeping an eye on a problematic individual, it's about potentially preventing more harm from being done. Pamperchu's history and the sheer brazenness of his actions online suggest there could easily be multiple cases connected to him, whether it's animal cruelty, harassment, or worse. The fact that someone with this kind of track record is still operating freely online is a glaring oversight, and it's one that could have devastating consequences if left unchecked.